of 12, and they made what was otherwise a not so fun bus trip really enjoyable, and just goes to show you what a cute small town Mostar is. We actually ran into them yesterday as well, and that was also a highlight. So huge shout out to that family. You guys absolutely made this last couple days a real joy for us. You know, one of the things I was most looking forward to with traveling was getting to meet new people from all over the world, and we just thoroughly love meeting you all.
Yes, it was a joy. Your grandparents are wonderful. It kind of reminds us of our grandparents.
The kids are great.
The kids are super sweet. Everybody's
So
super
sweet.
sweet. So we just wanted to say it was a pleasure meeting you all, and maybe here in the future when we make it to the UK and Ireland and all that, we'll maybe run into you again.
We'd love that.
Yep. Bye.
Safe travels, you guys.
Okay, I thought I'd share this quick story with you. We came back from Bosnia-Herzegovina back into Croatia, and of course we had to go across the border checkpoint, get our passports stamped. You know, we had to get off the bus because we took a bus, and we walked across the border and got our passports stamped back into Croatia. And before we got on the bus, there was a customs official asking questions, just random questions for some passengers, and he got to me and I came up to him, and he says something to me in Croatian. I kind of just shook my shoulders and shook my head, and he goes, English? And I said English, and he goes, anything to declare? And I said, nothing to declare. And then he says, liquor, cigarette, food. And I said, no cigarette, no liquor, no food. And he kind of looks me up and down and goes, you don't smoke? And I said, I don't smoke. And he goes, get on the bus. So I got on the bus. Accurate?
Accurate. This guy, I mean, granted, you know, Darren's impression is priceless, but this guy was hysterical, and he's doing his job, but just, you know, he was a little animated. And it honestly made for a highlight of our trip back into Croatia.
Right now, we're in Diocletian's palace, and I'm not really sure what this area is. We'll look it up, and I'll put it up on the screen.
So Diocletian's palace, for those who don't know, was constructed for the former Roman Emperor Diocletian. He was actually born in Dalmatia, which of course is where we are in Croatia right now, on the coast of southern Croatia. So when he retired from being an emperor after ruling for about 20 years, he wanted to retire back to where he was from. So he had this palace constructed, which they believe started in about 295 AD, meaning this palace is over 1700 years old. He did get to live here for several years before he passed away, and he is actually buried within the palace here. Part of the palace was used as his retirement home, and the other part was used for the armory. So that's why it almost looks like a fortress in here, because it actually was used for military purposes as well.
Spending all day on the boat. Oh my God.
He's got nothing. It's early in the morning. It's like before 7 o'clock. We've been up for already like an hour and a half. But we are doing our Blue Cape and 5 Island day tour from Split today. So we're just going to be kind of island hopping for the next like 11 hours. And it is one of the most popular things to do when you come to Split, Croatia, because the islands are, of course, like a huge draw.
Okay, so we just got finished with the Blue Cave across the way, and one thing we learned from this experience was that, you know, we met at 6:45 for a reason, and we raced across, and it was an hour boat ride, and you know, we were, I think, first leaving port, and by the time we got there, we were the 5th boat in line, and you know, thankfully it wasn't a long wait for us, but they said, you know, because of the crowd, some people can sit there and wait for 3 hours to get their turn to go in the cave. So I definitely recommend getting, you know, an early slot on a boat and try to go as early as possible so you can beat the crowds, and it'll be much better for the rest of your day. And right now we are on the island of, we took I think it's about a 10-minute boat ride to go across to Vis, V-I-S. And it's like a stepping back in time. You know, some of these homes are from 150 years old to up to 1,000 years old. And up until about 30-some years ago, you had to have a permit to come on this island because it was a military island. But now it's obviously open up for tourism, and something like, I can't remember what he said, 500 people live here maybe? Maybe more than that. We're gonna spend some time here getting some breakfast, and then we'll head off to our next location. Classic, old and new, right next to each other.
So we're really lucky that we get to have this experience, and it really is a beautiful little town of Kushima?
I don't know. Look it up.
So our boat brought us to the cute little town of Komisa and Vis, and we have about an hour and a half to explore here, have breakfast, things like that. And we are headed down to the church that was used in the second Mamma Mia movie. Beautiful little church right on the coastline of Vis.
I guess I didn't explain, but we're heading to an old Spanish fort above the town of Hvar, on the island of Hvar. Yeah, so this is a nice little paved path on the way up to the Spanish fort. Nice little switchbacks. It's in the shade. It's beautifully landscaped. We probably, like I said, won't make it to the top because we got to be back on the boat in less than an hour. So we'll do the best we can. But I already see the one of the bottom sides of the walls. Actually, we're just coming up to it now. But the main fort is pretty far up.
Cool. We're in a fortress.
So we hope you can hear us, but we're doing the palace tour today inside. It's raining outside, so we're inside.
Yeah, it's a really good day for this. We were going to do it the day that we came in, but you know, most of these buildings are indoors, so even with the rain, you can definitely do this type of stuff. It doesn't really, you know, the weather won't affect it. It will be busy though, because of course everyone else is indoors too.
Yeah, I'll show you small clips from all those sites today, and not a whole lot of talking just because it's crowded and there's a lot of people here.
Yeah, but there's some cool things we're going to see. We're in the treasury right now. We're going to also be going to St. Dominic's Cathedral, the baptistry, and the Jupiter's Temple. We do the bell tower, and in the St. Dominic's Cathedral, that is where Diocletian is buried. how they even got up there and carved that the way that they did. It's absolutely stunning. Their faces carved into the ceiling. So reading further, we see that the faces are actually carved likenesses of Roman gods and heroes. So really neat.
We're heading up into the bell tower. Gotta watch your head in this part. It's like one up, one down. Very narrow through here. No idea we can come all the way up here. Oh, thank God.
Hello from Plitvice, the Plitvice Lakes National Park area in northern Croatia. It's just amazing to us the difference between the southern part of the country that we had just spent the last weekend versus this northern area. Just the landscape is completely different. It had been hot here up until the rain came in yesterday, but that's cooled things down significantly. It is super comfortable now, and we are super excited because we needed a break from the heat.
Yeah, so temperature, I think 18 Celsius, I think. So it's around 68 for everybody else other than Europeans. And
it's been like 40 Celsius. So over, over 100 degrees for those of us in Fahrenheit. So huge difference. And we definitely needed the break.
Yeah, so we're gonna go start our walk. We gotta walk about 2/10 of a mile to a little restaurant. We're walking along the road here. There's no sidewalk, so we're trying not to get killed by traffic because there's a lot of traffic in and out of the park. How cute is this place? It's like a little Swiss village up here.
I love it. I think it's so cute.
What'd you get?
So I am super excited. I got the Wiener Schnitzel. I haven't had this since we honeymooned in Switzerland almost 2 years ago. So this is like a little blast from my past, and I'm excited to see how this one turned out.
Yeah. And I got the chicken kebabs wrapped with bacon, some fries, and some veggies. So good. Just finished dinner. Antonio Bistro. Just up the street from our B&B. Great little ambiance. We're sitting on the patios you could see, and it was great.
Yeah, it was really good. Our hostess at the B&B recommended it, and it was really, a good menu. Kind of heartier meals, more of what we had when we were in Switzerland, so very familiar. Like I said, got the Wiener Schnitzel, and that was great. But it was really nice, good food, good atmosphere, and the service was really great as well. So good recommendation from our hostess, and if you're coming to this area, we would recommend them as well. Earlier we were talking about our ride up here, and I think it's worth saying that we're really glad that we drove, for the couple hours that it takes to get up here. It gave us an opportunity to see a part of this country that I don't know we would have seen otherwise, and it's just really beautiful. The drive was gorgeous. Seeing the terrain change was really cool. Driving here is very easy if you're coming from North America. In particular, there's nothing unfamiliar to you. You're driving on, the left side of the car, on the right side of the road, so there's nothing tricky about that. And a lot of the rules of the road are very similar as to what they are in the States. So especially North Americans that may be afraid to drive in Europe, this is a country you can feel very comfortable doing it, and it's well worth driving, at least through parts of the country, because the scenery is just absolutely gorgeous, and we drove through some really beautiful little towns, through the mountains, through the valleys, and really enjoyed our time coming up here from the south.
What she said. Okay, good morning.
Good
We just came
morning.
into Gate 2 of Plitvice National Park. and
Gate
we're-
1.
Oh, Gate 1. Gate 1.
We thought we were coming to Gate 2, but we are actually in Gate 1.
Gate 1, and now we're making our way down to, I guess this is the side with the more impressive falls, so we've already seen a little bit. And now we're gonna make our way down the trail. It's obviously very crowded. Anyway, our pass was started at 8 a.m. When we got here, the parking lot was almost full, it looked like.
Yeah, so the park opens at 7, at least during the summer months. I'm not sure about winter months, but during high season it opens at 7. If you want to see the park before it gets super crowded, the earlier you come the better, because the tours get offloaded here and it does get really, really crowded to a point of where it's almost hard to be on the bridges at certain times because they're just packed with people. So if you want one of those really pretty photos that you see on Instagram where it's just you in the falls, get here as early as possible. But we can't complain because this is a beautiful morning. It's been really hot in all of Croatia, including up here at the park. The rain really cooled things down. It feels like fall. This is the kind of the middle towards the end of August, but it feels like a fall day, and considering we're going to be doing a lot of walking today, we're really grateful for the dip in the weather. It's going to make for a really pleasant day.
Yeah, for our American friends, it's about 60 degrees this morning. I'll put up the Celsius on the screen.
So this is definitely one of our bucket list items. We have had this on our list of top things we wanted to do for several years, and we're really excited that we finally get to see it.
This is aptly named the Big Waterfall, so when we get around the corner, you'll be able to see it right at the base of the waterfall.
It's big. Spoiler alert, it's big.
So from top to bottom, these falls are about 87 meters. I'll put the feet up on the screen.
Okay, so some facts about Plitvice National Park. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so this is protected land. So as inviting as these pools look, you can't swim here.
So just for a brief second, you get away from the crowds and the noise of the waterfalls, and it's actually really peaceful. And this is probably the only moment of the day that's going to happen. So we're waiting in line for the boat to take us across the lake to the
lower lakes.
Lower
and
lakes.
The falls over on that side of the park.
And the line can be very long. It's not horrible right now because we got here early, but here's what's in front of us. And this is what's behind us. Update, we waited about 30 minutes for the boat.
So not bad at all. And we'll have a nice little ride across the lake to get to the other portion of the park with the lakes and trails and panoramic train and stuff like that.
Remember, this is a European holiday month, so there's a lot of people here. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's crowded, but you know, my understanding is it gets even worse than this sometimes. So, I mean, we're still able to take the videos and the photos that we want to, but obviously we're not alone. So we're just trying to do what we want and then keep it moving. And I feel like most of the people around us are basically doing the same thing.
So this waterfall that we're taking pictures of in video, it's 28 meters, or about 91 feet. And it's one of the more impressive waterfalls in the area. It's really pretty.
Yeah, when you think of this national park, this is kind of more the waterfalls that you would expect to see here. It's really beautiful. It's kind of gorgeous cascading, multiple falls right next to each other. It's really stunning and specific to this area of the world.
And as you would think, being this impressive, it's very crowded right now. I'll get some quick pictures here. We're not alone. Okay, so we made our way all the way up the trail to a sightseeing overlook. Looks out over the whole park. Wasn't a bad hike at all. Granted, it's been very shady and breezy, so it's been really nice.
It's also nice and quiet too. Not as many people are coming up here.
So the payoff is less crowds and a spectacular view.
So the second half of the hike was about 3.5 miles. The first portion was about a little over 1.5 miles. And we did this in just about a little over 4 hours, just under 4.5 hours.
I probably walked a little further than Nina. It's just science.
You didn't walk any further than me. We literally followed each other the entire time.
My legs
Don't
are
let him
longer,
fool you.
distance travel.
He walked faster than me. He did not walk farther than me.
We're gonna argue later.
But so a lot of people we've spoken to have said that, to do the entire park, you're looking at about a 5 to 6 hour day. And by the time we get down from with the panoramic train back to where we started, it probably will be a little closer to 5 full hours that we were here in the park. So plan accordingly. If you think you're going to come later in the afternoon, just know you may not get to see everything.
So after about 4 hours of driving, we made it from Plitvice to Pula, and we just got into our apartment finally, so I'm going to show you around a little bit. This is sort of the lobby, and it is an apartment, by the way. Yep, so we got a full living room, a nice cute little kitchen, nice table. What else do we have? We got a dishwasher. Now we're gonna be here 2 days, so we're not gonna use any of this stuff. We'll be out. Microwave oven, cooktop, cute fridge, sort of a throwback fridge, toaster, coffee maker. Coming back in here, we find Nina. What is this? What are we trying to do?
Well, we're trying to figure out how to use the washing machine, but there's like little pictures and I don't entirely understand what they mean and what to do with them to get the wash started. So I've got to reach out to our host to see how to use the washing machine.
Yeah, we got a great shower, little rain shower. Nice, very nice. We've kind of made a mess already of the master. We threw all our stuff down real quick, but big closets, TV. So right out this window to the right or the left is the Pula amphitheater that looks a lot like the Rome Colosseum. I mean, we're literally stone's throw distance from that, which is amazing. So Nina did a fantastic job finding this place. So our apartment is to the building right here, and this is what is behind us. Yes, that's the that's the Pula amphitheater, which is, I mean, it's spectacular, and we'll get more into that when we get in there and give you some of the information and dates it was built and how spectacular. But now we're lunch. We haven't eaten since this morning, and it's about, what, 3 o'clock?
It's about 2:45, so yeah, it's been a long day, but we had a huge breakfast at the little B&B that we stayed at, and I'm just now kind of getting hungry,
So it's food time, and we'll be back.
Absolutely.
So we found a nice little lunch spot here in town, right on the Riva, or the promenade. I have a complaint. We've ordered a lot of cappuccino lately, and it's my first time ever having cappuccino, believe it or not, and espresso. But all the coffee cups to this point, or the cappuccino cups, are made for right-handed. I'm left-handed, and these are clearly biased, and I got a problem with that. See? Perfect right hand, perfect. switch around. It's just awkward. Not made for a left hand at all. It's just weird. It wants to fall. Things we got to deal with as left-handers. Some of you will know. You don't.
Nope. It's perfect for me. Cheers.
First on the agenda this morning is to find a breakfast spot. We found a breakfast spot, but we're early, so we gotta wait about 15 minutes. So we found a breakfast spot. It's called the Backyard. It's a cute little place. We're sitting outside, obviously, but we both ordered the omelet with cheese, vegetables, and olives.
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 So we got our breakfast. It looks delicious. Darren's already dug into his. We got the exact same thing.
So good. Good cappuccino. Good juice. Nice bread. Alright, we just finished breakfast. Now we're going to try to make our way around to the front gate. We're on the back side and get into this bad mamma jamma. What was the ticket price?
10 per,
Yeah.
10 euro per person, per adult. Very affordable. So, this is absolutely astonishing. We have been looking forward to coming to this arena for, like I said, about a year and a half now. And here's why. The Pula amphitheater is the only remaining Roman amphitheater to have all 4 side towers entirely preserved. This amphitheater started construction back in 27 BC through 68 AD and is among the world's 6th largest surviving Roman arenas. It's also the country's best preserved ancient monument. And here's some things that I think are really, really interesting to note. So, as I said, the construction started back in 27 BC. It was actually first built in timber during the reign of Augustus during 2 to 14 AD. Then it got replaced by small stones during the reign of Emperor Claudius. And then in 79 AD, it was enlarged to accommodate gladiator fights. And of course, those fights continued for hundreds of years until they were finally outlawed by Emperor Honorius back in, let's see. So those fights continued for hundreds of years until the 5th century when Emperor Honorius prohibited those gladiatorial combats. However, of course, even though they were prohibited, the fights did continue on between both prisoners and with animals until about 681 AD. So when Darren and I were considering our itinerary for Croatia, we knew that Pula was one of the top places that we wanted to travel to, and this amphitheater was exactly the reason why. We just felt like this was such a cool piece of history, so perfectly intact. We absolutely had to see it.
And one thing you can see behind us is the stage is set up, and so they still have concerts in different times throughout the year, and there's going to be one the 24th of August, which we're not going to be here for, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's still a big draw, obviously, you know, because where else would you want to see a concert in other than a place like this? It's great. It's unfortunate that we're not going to be here, but
That's funny. All right, so the exterior walls of the amphitheater are constructed in limestone. The amphitheater, the maximum height is about 96.5 feet, where the first 2 floors have 72 arches. The top floor has 64 rectangular openings. So the part that faces the waterfront is 3 stories, and the rest of the amphitheater is 2 stories because this amphitheater is built on a slope, it's built on a hill. Capacity here is 23,000 spectators. So it's going to be interesting to do the comparison because in about a week we're going to the Colosseum in Rome. I've been to it before, but it was a long time ago. I was a teenager when I went. And
I haven't been.
It's going to be a first time for Darren, so we're really excited about that too. But just doing the comparison of the two amphitheaters again, you know, this one is just so beautifully intact, but it is on a much smaller scale than the one in Rome. I know the one in Rome could house a lot more than 23,000 spectators, but really cool that they wanted to bring some Rome over into Pula on the Istrian Peninsula of Croatia, what is now Croatia.
Nina and I are just sitting here reflecting back, reflecting on the fact that, you know, we're sitting in a place where people would, as spectators, watch men kill each other for sport, or men fight animals to the death, either the animal or themselves. It's crazy to think about how brutal history truly is.
Yeah, you know, and I'm just like, you know, just in awe of like who may have sat in this very seat that I'm sitting in now before me. And it's amazing how close you are to the action. I mean, we are so close to the arena floor. I mean, it's just so up close and personal with the events that took place here. It's really pretty fascinating.
And something to note that, you know, even to this day, it's still being used for entertainment. A monumentally different type of entertainment, but it's still entertainment. What I'm really amazed with, as you'll see as you walk around here, is these ancient Roman bathrooms.
Yeah, I mean, again, just astonishing the history in this place.
So, yeah, the plumbing involved, spectacular. Just take a look. Okay, so we discovered something we didn't know was here, and it's the tunnel system under the castle.
Which
It's called Strasse, and we're gonna go in the tunnels underneath the castle.
We've been talking a lot about Roman structures. This castle is actually a former Venetian fortress, so really cool to see the different cultures that had such a huge impact in Pula and its history.
Okay, so we made our way up to the top, or almost the top of the Venetian fort.
Okay, so I was able to look up some fun facts. Now, we knew this was a Venetian fortress. Now, this fortress was built between 1630 and 1633, and it was actually based on the design of a French engineer. So this fortress doesn't have an Italian feel to it. It has more of a French feel, which I think is really cool considering all the Italian influence in this area. Now, this was built as a defense for the city of Pula along the Adriatic. Of course, this city is so accessible that they were always trying to defend it from foreign invasion. So this fortress was intended with that purpose from the beginning of its construction. And it's interesting to note that the stones from the large Roman theater, so that amphitheater that we just came from, were actually used for this construction, along with stones they got in other quarries around the area of Pula. So some of the stones that were taken from the Pula amphitheater were used to build this fortress.
Very nice view of the city.
Yeah, and of the port over here too.
Yeah, you can see why the fort's so important, because it has obviously really good access and visibility to the port, which was the most important area of Pula. Sorry? Okay, so this is the Temple of Augustus, and go Nina.
All right, so this was actually a temple dedicated to the first Roman emperor, Augustus, of course, and they believe that it was built during his life, which would have been from between 27 BC and his death in 14 AD. So very, very cool. And you can go inside the building for just a few dollars, but the view from the outside is absolutely spectacular and worth doing in and of itself. All right, so it's our last night in Croatia, and what a fantastic 12 days it's been. We've had so many fun experiences. We've taken in so much culture, seen a lot of history, and just really enjoyed every second that we've been here. So for me, it's a little bittersweet because I'm absolutely going to miss Croatia. And I know this is one of those places I definitely want to come back to in the future, not only to fill in some gaps from what we couldn't do on this trip and the places we've been to, but also to explore some of the places in the country that we didn't make it to this time. So I know it's going to be on our a list of places to come back to, and we are super excited to show you where we're going next, because we have a lot of fun stuff planned up ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back. I'm just kidding.
Yes, he does. He loves it here too.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was definitely a bucket list place to come to. We definitely want to come back because there's more to see that we didn't get to see in this jam-packed adventure that we embarked on. Loved all the cities. The people were wonderful. The food was wonderful. We have no complaints, of course.
No.
You know, the Croatian people are actually, you know, were spectacular, and we just we had a great time.
Yeah, super sweet, very welcoming, very, you know, just very kind, and had, you know, a great way of making us feel very welcome and at home while we were here. So that's for me, I think, a huge reason that I'd love to come back and see more that this beautiful country has to offer.
Yeah, so stay tuned as I push open this incredibly heavy door. Yeah, stay tuned and wait to see where we come next. We will videotape our adventure tomorrow as we make our way to our next location. So stay tuned.
In the meantime, good night.
Night.